Greg, muttering, great. Just my luck. Stupid van dies in the middle of nowhere. What am I supposed to do now? Deliver fries on foot? He adjusts the fast food bag, grumbling to himself as he trudges along the dark road. Suddenly, a blinding light flashes overhead, followed by a loud crash. He freezes. Greg, wide-eyed, holy. What the hell was that? He cautiously approaches the crash site. Smoke and glowing debris scatter the field. At the center is a shimmering, humanoid figure with glowing eyes and an otherworldly presence. Veolora, in a distorted voice, do not approach. Stay where you are, human. Greg, stopping, human? Well,
Yeah.
what else would I be? Are you okay? Did you fall out of a plane or something? Veolora, weakly, I am, not from your skies. I require assistance. Greg, squinting, wait, are you, glowing? Is this some weird cosplay thing? Look, I don't have time for this. My boss is already riding my. Veolora, suddenly serious, silence. I have one chance to survive, and it depends on you. Greg, laughing nervously, me? Lady, I'm just trying to deliver a burger and fries. Veolora, staggering forward, my name is Veolora. I am pursued by hunters. If you do not help me, I will die. Greg, stepping back, hunters? Like aliens? Is this some Area 51 prank? Veolora, ignoring him, your biology is compatible. We must synchronize. Greg, holding up his hands, whoa. Synchronize? Look, I don't know what you think is about to happen here, but I'm not that kind of guy. Veolora, confused, that kind of guy? Your meaning is unclear. I speak of life force synchronization. Greg, blinking, oh. Sure. That clears everything up. Totally normal. Veolora, irritated, I am weakened. Without a bond, I will not survive the next cycle. Greg, pausing, okay, say I believe you're an alien, which I don't. By the way, what exactly do you need me to do? Veolora, standing taller, allow our energies to merge through proximity. It is, intimate but necessary. Greg, choking, intimate. Lady, I just met you. Can't we, I don't know, exchange numbers first? Veolora, tilting her head, exchange what? Greg, sighing, forget it. Look, if this isn't some elaborate joke, I'll help. But if I wake up in a lab somewhere, I'm blaming you. Veolora, smiling faintly, gratitude, human. As Greg extends a hand to help Veolora, a loud screech pierces the air. He whirls around, spotting 3 ominous figures in the distance. Greg, panicked, oh, great. What now? Veolora, alarmed, they are here. The hunters. We must leave. Greg, gesturing to the field, and go where? My van's dead, and unless you've got a spaceship stashed nearby. Veolora, pointing to the wreckage, there. Greg, staring, that's your ship? It looks like a toaster that lost a fight. Veolora, frowning, it is damaged, but functional. Move quickly, human. Greg hesitates before muttering to himself and helping Veolora toward the wreck. The hunters close in, their metallic weapons gleaming under the moonlight. Greg, half joking, you better not be lying about this, glow stick. Veolora, dryly, I assure you, my luminescence is authentic. Greg, rolling his eyes, not what I meant. They reach the ship just as the hunters fire a blast that narrowly misses them. Veolora presses her hand to the ship's side, and a hatch creaks open. Greg, staring inside, yep. Definitely a toaster. Veolora, urgently, enter. Now. Greg climbs in, muttering under his breath. The hatch seals behind them as Veolora slumps into a glowing console. The ship vibrates and sputters to life. Greg, looking around, okay, so what's the plan? Veolora, weakly, we flee. And we synchronize. Greg, groaning, you're really not letting that go, huh? Veolora, smirking faintly, it is vital. Greg, grumbling.
Yeah.
That's what they all say. Fine. Let's just get out of here first. The ship lurches upward, and Greg grips the nearest handle as they shoot into the night sky, leaving the hunters behind. Veolora, glancing around, your dwelling is primitive but sufficient for now. Greg, defensive, hey, it's called minimalist living. Don't knock it. Veolora picks up a random object from the cluttered coffee table, a bottle opener, and examines it like it's a relic. Veolora, genuinely curious, is this a weapon? Greg, snorting.
Yeah.
If you're fighting a beer bottle. Veolora, confused, beer bottle? Is this a dangerous entity? Greg, grinning, only if you drink too many. Look, let's focus on the whole, saving your life, thing, okay? Veolora, nodding, agreed. We must synchronize soon. Greg, waving her off.
Yeah.
We'll get to the sinking thing. But first, we need a plan. Those hunter guys didn't exactly look like the forgiving type. Veolora moves to the window, watching as the lights of the city flicker in the distance. Veolora, thoughtfully, your world is strange. Chaotic, yet intriguing. Greg, shrugging, welcome to Earth. Home of chaos and really bad decisions. Speaking of which, what's the deal with those hunters? Why are they after you? Veolora, sighing, my people view me as a threat. I possess knowledge they wish to suppress. Greg, raising an eyebrow, so you're, like, an alien whistleblower? Veolora, tilting her head, if that term means revealing dangerous truths, then yes. Greg, smirking, great. I'm harboring an intergalactic fugitive. Veolora steps closer, her expression serious. Veolora, softly, I did not choose this path lightly. If they succeed, your planet may be next. Greg, pausing, wait, what? Why us? We're barely keeping it together down here. Veolora, with a faint smile, precisely. They fear unpredictability. Your kind excels at it. Greg, laughing.
Yeah.
We're great at winging it. Not sure that's something to fear, though. Veolora, studying him, you underestimate your species. Despite your flaws, there is potential. Greg, awkwardly. Thanks. I think? As Veolora continues observing the room, she picks up a smartphone and accidentally activates a dating app. Pictures of potential matches flash on the screen. Veolora, confused, what is this? A selection process for reproduction? Greg, snorting, oh, God, no. That's just Tinder. It's complicated. Veolora, scrolling through profiles, your species methods are inefficient. Greg, grinning.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone can just sync like you guys. Veolora sets the phone down, shaking her head. Veolora, muttering, primitive indeed. Greg, mock offended, hey, some of us have standards, okay? Their banter is interrupted by a strange noise outside. Greg peeks through the blinds and spots two figures lurking near the building. Greg, panicking, oh, great. The hunters found us. Veolora, calmly, they will not stop until I am neutralized. Greg, grimacing.
Yeah.
I got that part. So what do we do? Veolora, glancing at the door, we prepare. Greg, sarcastically, oh, sure. Let me grab my arsenal of, oh, wait, I don't have one. Veolora, ignoring him, your humor will not protect us. Greg, muttering, hasn't stopped me before. Veolora approaches the kitchen, scanning the counter for anything useful. She picks up a rolling pin and holds it like a weapon. Greg, amused, seriously? A rolling pin? Veolora, confidently, it will suffice. Greg, shaking his head, okay, remind me never to piss you off in a bakery. They quickly come up with a makeshift plan. Greg distracts the hunters with noise while Veolora uses her limited energy reserves to disable one of them. Chaos ensues as Greg trips over furniture, narrowly dodging a blast from an alien weapon. Greg, yelling, "This is not what I signed up for." Veolora, deadpan, "You agreed to help." Greg, dodging another blast.
Yeah.
"I thought help meant, like, carrying stuff. Not dodging death rays." Veolora manages to incapacitate one of the hunters, while Greg throws a frying pan at the other, hitting them square in the face. Greg, panting, "Told you humans are unpredictable." Veolora, smirking faintly, "Point taken." As the hunters retreat, Greg collapses onto the couch, breathing heavily. Greg, grinning weakly, "So, sinking. How's that work again?" Veolora, smiling, "You are not ready, human." Greg, groaning, "Story of my life." Greg, rubbing his temples, "Okay, Veolora, level with me. How does sinking even work? Is it like charging a phone, or are we talking something more weird?" Veolora, sitting gracefully on the couch, "It is not as crude as your analogy, but it involves a transfer of energy. My essence will align with yours, creating a shared bond." Greg, raising an eyebrow.
Yeah.
"Shared bond sounds a little personal. Are we gonna glow or something?" Veolora, ignoring his tone, "There will be a subtle light, yes. It is a sign of successful synchronization." Greg, snorting, "Great. So, basically, we're doing the alien version of holding hands and lighting up like Christmas?" Veolora, tilting her head, "Your humor deflects your discomfort. Are you afraid?" Greg, pausing, "Afraid? No. Confused? Definitely. Look, I'm just a guy who delivers burgers. I'm not exactly a save the galaxy material." Veolora, softly, "Yet you are here. And you agreed to help. That alone sets you apart." Greg, frowning, "Sets me apart from who?" Veolora, looking away, "Many others would have fled. Humans often act in self-interest, but you stayed." Greg, rubbing the back of his neck.
Yeah.
"Well, maybe I'm just too stupid to run." Veolora, smiling faintly, "Or too brave to admit fear." Greg, laughing nervously, "Let's not get carried away." The sound of something mechanical humming in the distance breaks their moment. Veolora stiffens, her glowing eyes narrowing. Veolora, they are recalibrating their tracking devices. We have little time. Greg, standing quickly, "And by little time, you mean?" Veolora, "Minutes, perhaps less." Greg, grabbing his jacket, "Great. So, what's the plan now? Another round of dodge the death ray?" Veolora, serious, "Synchronization is the only way forward. It will strengthen me and confuse their sensors." Greg, frowning, "Still sounds intimate." Veolora, meeting his eyes, "It is not intimacy as you understand it, human. There is no physical union." Greg, relieved, "Oh, thank God. I was worried this was about to turn into a weird alien romance novel." Veolora, curious, "A novel? Does your kind record tales of interspecies connections?" Greg, chuckling, "Oh, you have no idea. Some of them are, let's just say, creative." Veolora, raising an eyebrow, "Your species grows stranger with every revelation." Greg, grinning, "Welcome to Earth, glow stick." Veolora moves closer, her energy faintly pulsing around her. Greg instinctively steps back, his humor faltering. Greg, nervously, "So, do I just stand here?" Veolora, reassuringly, "Close your eyes. Focus on your breath." Greg, grinning weakly, "Sounds like yoga." Veolora, ignoring him, "Let go of your thoughts. Allow the connection to form." Greg closes his eyes, awkwardly trying to follow her instructions. A warm, tingling sensation spreads through him, and he feels a strange, otherworldly presence in his mind. Greg, eyes snapping open, "Whoa. Did you just get in my head?" Veolora, calmly, "The bond is forming. Relax." Greg, waving his hands, "Relax. Lady, you're in my brain. That's not normal." Veolora, patiently, "It is necessary. Do you feel pain?" Greg, pausing, no, but it's still weird. Veolora places her hand gently on his chest, her expression softening. Veolora, quietly, trust me. Greg hesitates but eventually nods. The tingling grows stronger, and he feels a surge of energy coursing through him. For a brief moment, their surroundings seem to fade, replaced by a swirling expanse of light and color. Greg, whispering, whoa, this is kind of beautiful. Veolora, smiling, the bond is complete. Greg opens his eyes, blinking as the room comes back into focus. Veolora looks slightly stronger, her glow brighter. Greg, rubbing his chest, okay, that was intense. Veolora, grateful, you have my thanks, Greg. Greg, grinning, don't mention it. Seriously. Don't. The mechanical hum outside grows louder, and Veolora's expression hardens. Veolora, they are close. We must move. Greg, grabbing a baseball bat, great. Round 2 with the death squad. Just another day in the life of a guy who gets paid minimum wage. Veolora, smiling faintly, you will do well, human. Greg, muttering.
Yeah.
That makes one of us. Greg, panting, okay, Veolora, just tell me one thing, are we even remotely prepared for what's about to happen? Veolora, calmly, no. Greg, groaning, great. Love the confidence boost. Veolora, sharply, doubt will not help us now. Focus, human. Greg, muttering.
Yeah.
No pressure. Just Earth's most average guy going toe-to-toe with alien assassins. Veolora steps forward, her glowing presence commanding attention. Veolora, serious, they will underestimate you. That is your advantage. Greg, snorting, underestimating me is basically my whole personality. Veolora gives him a faint smile before turning her attention to the door. The mechanical hum outside shifts into an ominous silence. Greg, nervously, is it just me, or is quiet way worse than noise? Veolora, whispering, they are positioning themselves. Stay close. Greg grips his makeshift weapon, a crowbar, tightly, his knuckles turning white. Greg, whispering back, any chance we can just talk it out? Maybe a little intergalactic diplomacy? Veolora, glancing at him, they are not here to negotiate. Greg, grimacing.
Yeah.
Figured. The door bursts open, and 2 alien figures step inside, their sleek armor gleaming under the dim light. They scan the room, their glowing eyes locking onto Veolora. Alien 1, coldly, Veolora. You cannot run. Veolora, steadily, I am not running. Alien 2, mocking, bold words for someone hiding behind a primitive. Greg, stepping forward, hey, primitive has a name, buddy. And it's Greg. The aliens exchange a glance, clearly unimpressed. Alien 1, to Greg, do you understand what you are meddling in, human? Greg, grinning, nope. But I'm getting really good at improvising. Veolora moves subtly, her hands glowing faintly as she prepares to defend them. Alien 2, raising a weapon, this will be quick. Greg, sarcastically, oh, good. I hate long goodbyes. As the alien fires, Veolora deflects the blast with a sudden burst of energy, sending the attacker stumbling backward. Greg takes the opportunity to swing his crowbar, catching the other alien off guard. Greg, yelling, how's that for, primitive, huh? Veolora presses her advantage, her movements graceful yet fierce. Greg, on the other hand, fights with sheer determination and a lot of yelling. Greg, swinging wildly, this is for wrecking my apartment. And for making me miss my shift. Veolora disables one alien with a precise strike, her glow intensifying as she draws energy from their faltering tech. Greg, meanwhile, manages to trip the other alien, landing a clumsy but effective hit. Greg, panting, and that is how you earth it up. Veolora, smirking, earth it up? Greg, shrugging, just go with it. The last alien retreats, clearly outmatched. Veolora lowers her hands, her glow dimming slightly. Veolora, quietly, they will regroup. Greg, collapsing onto a chair, of course they will. Because nothing's ever easy. Vealora sits beside him, her expression unreadable. Vealora, you did well. Greg, laughing weakly.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I just fought my way out of a sci-fi bar fight. Vealora, softly, you exceeded expectations. Greg, smirking, low expectations, huh? Story of my life. Vealora reaches out, placing a hand on his shoulder. Vealora, seriously, your life has value, Greg. More than you realize. Greg, pausing, thanks. I think. The two sit in silence for a moment, the adrenaline fading. Greg glances at Vealora, a question forming in his mind. Greg, so, what now? Do we just keep running until they give up? Vealora, thoughtfully, no. We must find allies. Greg, laughing, allies? On Earth? Good luck with that. Vealora, meeting his gaze, you underestimate your people. Greg, grinning, you keep saying that. Starting to think you're more optimistic about humanity than we are. Vealora, smiling faintly, perhaps. Greg, sighing, well, if we're gonna keep fighting, we're gonna need more than a crowbar and glowing hands. Vealora, nodding, agreed. Greg leans back, staring at the ceiling as he tries to process everything that's happened. Greg, muttering, one chance to save you, huh? Guess I really took it. Vealora, gently, and for that, I am grateful. Greg, grinning, just don't forget to mention it when the history books are written. Vealora, smiling, if we succeed, your name will be remembered. Greg, chuckling, great. Greg, the guy who saved an alien and almost got vaporized doing it. Has a nice ring to it. Vealora laughs softly, the sound both surprising and comforting. For the first time, Greg feels a spark of confidence in their impossible situation. Greg, standing, all right, let's figure out how to turn this mess into a win. Vealora, standing as well, together, we will. Greg, grinning, damn right we will.